You know, half the reason I looked so chunky in my before pictures from my diet wasn't just because I was a fatty. Yes, my body fat percentage was significantly higher, but I also had massive bloating from excessive fiber intake. Since then, the changes I've made not only to the energy balance of my diet, but also the macronutrient composition of my diet have had drastic effects on my physique. My muscles are fuller and my midsection is now not distended 24/7. I think most people by default will be over-consuming fiber if they're following a whole food plant-based diet. And by over-consuming, I just mean relative to their body's ability to process it all. And this can lead to a number of issues: stomach distension, GI discomfort, bloating, gas. And the best thing that's happened to me and my physique has been to become very aware of how much fiber I'm consuming and to consciously reduce that amount. I was intaking a lot, 100 grams plus per day. But the thing is, it wasn't even difficult to hit that number. Just by virtue of the calorie surplus that I was getting in a ridiculous amount of fiber. Dieting now, I've obviously moved over to an energy deficit, but I've also proportionately reduced the amount of fiber I'm consuming relative to my calories. And what I've learned during this time, I will apply next time I enter into a lean gain phase. Digestion is huge, and if yours isn't optimized, you won't look or feel your best. And there's a couple of reasons for this. Firstly, fiber, too much of it blunts nutrient uptake. So you won't absorb as much of the food that you're ingesting. Particularly, you'll look flat from lack of digestible carbohydrate, so your muscles are going to look soft and depleted as opposed to hard and full. Secondly, poor digestion will lead to stomach distension and bloating. Yes, my waist did shrink as a result of this diet, but it shrank disproportionately compared to previous diets when you look at how much weight I've lost, and that's because of my focus on reducing the amount of fiber that I've been intaking on this diet. If you do nothing, you'll have a combination of flat muscles and a distended belly, which is not ideal because not only will you look worse, you'll perform worse and feel worse. So how do we solve this problem? Because I want to provide a solution to anyone who is suffering from this. Well, we've got to look to get less fiber in overall. Simple as, certain protein sources do come along with fiber that can't be avoided. For instance, beans and lentils. There are protein sources that you can choose which have less fiber in, for instance tofu, but you don't want to just rely on that. So understand that you will be getting some fiber in from those whole food plant sources, but we just want to reduce the fiber from elsewhere. Any carbohydrate you're adding to your diet, you want to opt for low residue carbohydrates. Residue is just undigested food. It is essentially fiber, so you want to opt for low fiber carbohydrates. Avoid whole grains, avoid brown rice and wild rice, opt for white rice instead. Opt for white pasta. Avoid raw foods, cook your vegetables, even just steam them to make them easier to process on the body. I can tell some people are going to be confused by this advice because they've always been told that whole grains, etc. are good, and yes, they are good ways to get fiber in if you aren't already getting enough in. Most people watching this video, you're already hitting a very healthy amount, and any more is just causing problems. So you actually want to mitigate against that by reducing your fiber. So start implementing some of these changes if you too have been suffering with some of the issues we've mentioned with regards to excessive fiber intake. You'll notice not only your physique improve, but also your general well-being day to day as a result of the improved digestion. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.